No one really prepares you for the aftershocks of narcissistic abuse. You leave them, you block and breathe, and then suddenly everything that is supposed to feel good feels wrong. Safety makes you anxious, affection makes you freeze. Rest feels impossible. Why is that? Not because you are damaged. It happens because your body has not caught up with your freedom yet. You spent so long in survival mode that your nervous system does not know at all how to stop scanning for danger even when it is no longer there. This is complex trauma, the kind that does not come from one moment of stress, but from years of being emotionally erased, manipulated, tortured, and blamed. It is the slow poisoning of your trust in the world and in yourself. Hi, I am Danish, a narcissistic abuse recovery professional. The topic for today's episode is 8 strange symptoms of complex post-traumatic stress disorder after narcissistic abuse. These symptoms are rarely discussed, often misunderstood and silently endured. But once you understand them fully, everything begins to make sense. Before we get started, I want to share something really personal with you. My birthday is next month on June 5th, and I am doing something special on that day. I am doing a free 1-hour event on 3 mistakes people usually make when trying to heal after narcissistic abuse. I'll be doing 2 more events like this in a series of 3 mini events, and at the end of the 3rd event, you will get a chance to join my Dream Come True membership program where you will learn how to heal for real. So buckle up, get ready, and register yourself by clicking the link in the description or the I button above. Symptom number 1. You feel guilty for simply having emotions. This is one of the first wounds narcissistic abuse leaves behind, the wound of emotional shame. You first struggle to feel emotions like sadness, anger, or joy, and then you feel bad for feeling them. You second guess your tears. You apologize for expressing discomfort. You call your anger ugly and your needs dramatic. You feel like you're faking them because every time you showed emotion with the narcissist, what happened? It was used against you. You were told you were too sensitive, too intense, and too needy. So your nervous system learned as an adaptation that the safest thing to do was to shut down fully. And now, even when you are safe, you still fear being too much. It learned that it is better to shame yourself for feeling and expressing emotions before the narcissist does. Symptom number 2. You crave affection but do not trust it when it comes. You long for closeness. You want to be held. You want someone to just sit with you and not judge you. But the moment that warmth arrives, something inside you flinches. Your brain says, this is nice, but your body says, be careful. Because affection in the past was never just affection. It came with hidden motives. Kindness was followed by control. Warmth was followed by withdrawal. So now your body expects a trap even when there isn't one. It's not that you're crazy. You're scared in ways even you do not fully understand, and that your survivor is totally okay. Symptom number 3. You only feel truly safe when you are completely alone. Hyper-independence. It's not that you hate people. It's that being around them, even people who you like, drains you. You feel like you have to be on. You overthink everything you say. You read between every line, monitor your tone, your face, your energy, and expressions because everything feels draining and beyond overwhelming. Alone is the only place where you can finally breathe. There is no one to decode, no one to please, and no threat of being blindsided. And while parts of you want connection, the other part would rather stay behind closed doors because it's safe. This is social anxiety, but more than that, this is what happens when your nervous system has been trained to believe that people equal danger. Symptom number 4. Your sexuality feels disconnected, robotic, or shameful. You feel numb during physical intimacy and perform rather than participate. You even feel waves of guilt or self-disgust afterward. Why? Because your body still carries the memory of being used and not loved. Narcissists distort intimacy. They basically distort the concept of it. They turn it into a transaction, a performance, or a punishment. And that distortion does not disappear just because the relationship ends. It lingers. Healing means relearning what your own body feels like when it is not being watched, judged, or controlled. It takes time. And it's not your fault that it feels off right now. Symptom number 5. You rot in bed for hours and then you think you're lazy. You beat yourself up for not being productive, for not doing enough, for sleeping too much or doing too little. But what looks like laziness on the outside is usually grief on the inside. Grief for what? For your lost time, for who you had to become just to survive, for all the energy you had to spend pretending you were okay. Your body is asking you to pause. It's not betraying you. Because when you were in the relationship, there was no time to collapse. And now that the collapse is catching up with you, you gotta let it happen. You have to let it happen because you have to be reborn from your ashes. You have to rise like a phoenix. Symptom number 6. You panic when things are going well. Peace feels unfamiliar. Safety feels a lie. So the moment things calm down, your brain starts scanning for what is about to go wrong. You start questioning people's intentions. You wait for the mask to drop. You look for signs of betrayal in places where there are none. It's more than self-sabotaging. You're not self-sabotaging. It's not like you were drama. That's what you were told. You're bracing for impact because your nervous system has been taught that good moments do not last. You are preparing for loss. That is trauma, and naming it is the first step toward healing it. You're not rejecting happiness or being pessimistic. Symptom number 7. You feel anxious about feeling anxiety. It's a loop that's hard to explain unless you have lived it. You get anxious, and then you get anxious about being anxious because it reminds you of what it felt like when you were spiraling, stuck, or emotionally hijacked by the narcissist. You fear losing control. You fear falling into that darkness again. So the tiniest wave of discomfort feels like a tsunami, and you start trying to fix it right away instead of just letting yourself feel. It is functional brain damage that I have talked about a lot in action. It is your brain sounding the alarm before anything even happens, because once the danger was real. It is your painful referential experiences patterns getting reactivated. Symptom number 8. You either do not remember anything or you remember too much. Your mind is either blank or flooded with memories. Some parts of your past feel completely erased, like they happened to someone else. Other parts come back in sharp, unbearable flashes at random times. It is trauma memory, and trauma memory behaves differently than normal memory. Your brain prioritized survival over storage. Some memories were overwhelming to hold, others were too important to forget. And your nervous system still does not know what is safe to recall. So you live in a strange space where you are haunted and hollow at the same time. All in all, you did not develop these symptoms because you are weak. That's what I want you to understand. You developed them because you adapted to survive. Your nervous system did everything it could to keep you alive in an environment where love was weaponized, emotions were punished, and safety was conditional. These symptoms are not signs of failure. They are signs of survival. And the fact that you are here trying to understand what is happening inside you already proves that the strongest part of you is the one that refused to give up. Complex post-traumatic stress disorder after narcissistic abuse is not something you can talk yourself out of. It is not just in your head. It is in your body, your sleep, your relationships, and your identity, basically. It shows up quietly and lives in the background of your day-to-day life. And unless someone has been through it, they would understand how exhausting that truly is. I'll be talking about this a lot more in my upcoming free 1-hour webinar. Click the link in the description or the I button above to register yourself right now. With that, let's bring this episode to an end. Thank you so much for listening. I will talk to you in the next one. Until then, as always, let the healing begin and continue.